Okay, so we're here with Josh and Haydee. Where are we actually? Where are we in Irvine? Irvine, California. Wherever it is, it's beautiful, it's sunny, and yeah, and I'm watching people throw spears.
Yes. Hopefully not at you.
No. I must admit, I've never seen that before. You know, that's definitely a first.
We might have to get you a throw one before you go then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a go.
Fitness on Fire is about community, number one. We're about community, we're about good coaching, and we're about self-development. Those are the three things that we believe a lot in. What Spartan has become for us is something our community bonds with, and it's something our community trains for together. And so a lot of the times it's become more of an anchor for our team to have something they're working towards. Yeah. A lot of times they get fit and they're like, okay, now what? And that's kind of what this is for us. It's that, and then what program, or a now what program. That once you move well, you've gotten strong, you can do things with your body. We're trying to encourage people to go out and do something with that fitness, right? And that's what all this stuff's about. Pretty much if you ever earn a medal at Fitness on Fire while you train here, then we're gonna get you on the Wall of Fame. So we'll get a picture from the race, we'll have you sign the picture, and it goes up forever. And we have athletes of all kinds. We've got youth athletes, your baseball, hockey players, basketball players, football players. We've got your obstacle racing athletes, your grown-ups, bodybuilding contestants, kettlebell competitors, pretty much every type of race, American Ninja Warrior, kind of neat. And so some of these members honestly don't come here anymore, but as long as they earned it while they're here, they're gonna stay on the wall. And it's something neat because when they do come back, sometimes they'll show their friends like, hey, that's me on the wall. And it's created a really neat sense of accomplishment for people. Yeah, this is the main room. This is our like the metabolic conditioning room of sorts. And I'll start with what I think is the most important, which is the mindset behind training, right? And it might sound cliche or cheesy, but sometimes you're going through a hard set and you'll look up and you'll see something like I can, and it gets you through. We believe that the way you do one thing is the way you probably do most things. And so the principles of fitness, the things that we learn in the gym, setting goals, working hard to attain those goals, believing when you don't know if you can or not, but believing that you're gonna keep working until you get it, all those things, I think translate into your work life, your relationships, so on and so forth. So we try to help people become better people, and then it's just kind of wrapped up in the fitness product. Right. And so mindset was the first thing. When we said we were going to get the gym, this was one of the first things we wanted to do is have a quote wall and start to encourage that mindset. Again, really we teach a couple things. We teach like this hierarchy of movement. We teach the idea that you have to move well first. Right. So when people come into the gym, a lot of people, because we do a lot of Spartan and obstacle racing, a lot of people come in and they're like, I want to learn how to climb a rope, but they can't lift their shoulders overhead. So if you can't lift your shoulders overhead, you're not really qualified to climb a rope yet. So the first thing we have to do is make sure your shoulders work the way shoulders are supposed to work. We have to create good movement first, right? So once we've built a good base of good movement, then we look at strength training. We look at how do we progress somebody to we talk about strength takes care of everything. If you're strong, you're going to be injury resilient. If you're strong, you'll be able to last long. You'll be so on and so forth. So kind of like general physical preparedness, GPP. We make sure that our athletes get strong. So they move well, they get strong. And then after that's all set, you've got that foundation, then we try to invite them to go do something with that fitness. Right. And so for some of our members, getting fit is enough. And then for some of our members, it's like, how can I be the top guy in the gym and what category and whatnot? So this is a part of that, which is the idea that if our top 5 in anything we do in the gym actually gets put up on the board, and it becomes something that has added some healthy competition in the gym. Right.
About every quarter we do what's called the Graves Challenge. So it encompasses some of these movements. Right. So it rallies the community behind these movements. Yeah. Because some people do better when they have a community behind them. Right. They have a little bit more in them. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. The testing day, it's crazy. There's like 50 people in here. So you're going for a strict kettlebell press and you're struggling. You got a room full of people like, ah, and then you're like, ah, you get it. It's like, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a huge energy with it, so it helps a lot.
And how are these sort of dates on the calendar where you sort of say, right, we're going to do a challenge day, or how does that work?
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty much at least one Saturday a month we do some type of open gym thing. Right. Open gym might be like a community gym thing. We have open gym every day. People can come and work out all day long, but we have like a day that's scheduled for like to invite your friends, family, kind of a community day, and on those days are the days that we normally test and let people get a chance to officially make it real. So if we can help people get strong in these positions, they tend to live better quality of life all around. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so here at Fitness on Fire, you're here to crawl, You're gonna climb, you're gonna lunge, you're gonna jump, you're gonna use your body more so than if you went to a gym that you're just gonna sit on a machine and push something. And that's why Spartan and all the obstacle racing stuff kind of resonate with us, is because it's very natural movement. It's not like how much you bench, bro. It's more like, can you get over that wall or not? It's more about your skills. Can you get across the monkey bars? So it really puts a more human element into training, I think.
Right.
And so that's why we continue to build this stuff. So things such as like the multi-rig, where it's kind of like hot lava. Once you get up there, you're not supposed to touch the ground. You got to get from one ring to the bell on the other end. Things like rope climb, things like the monkey bars across the top, that kind of stuff. It resonates with that more human message.
Yeah.
But other things is we just celebrate all things fitness. So there's a good chance that if it's cool, if it does good for people, and we can learn about it, then we'll probably bring it in and we'll get educated on it, and we'll try to add some benefit for the members there. And I think it all hinged off of community. We trained with some different type of objects and moved a little bit more. And one of our girls came up to us one day and she's like, "Hey, have you guys ever done a Spartan race?" And I'm like, "I have not. I don't know why. I just haven't really done it." She's like, "Your guys' training is perfect for Spartan race. Like, you guys got to do a Spartan race." And she's like, "Would you do it with me?" And so she's like, "I'll sign up for the year if you commit to doing a Spartan race with me," kind of thing. It's like, deal. All right, cool. So we did it. Haydee and I went out for our first Spartan race together. And
absolutely terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved it.
I was terrible, but I got better, obviously.
You finished though?
Yeah, finished, and then after that we just started, the harder obstacles were like, why don't we just implement it in the gym so we could practice for the next one? Because off the bat, we signed up for our trifecta. If we were going to go into Spartan, we might as well just go big. If you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things when you do it, you just fall in love with it. Like, if it resonates with you, you either really love it or you really hate it. There's no in between. That's polar opposites. You either it's everything you've ever looked for. The suffering, there's like healing in that weird suffering, or it's just suffering and people are like, why did I sign up for this? This is awful. We call this the dirty side of the gym because the sand and the Atlas stones and all that kind of jazz.
So what weight's the big blue one?
This guy here, man, this is what we call the Hulk stone. This is a 215. And then buckets, if you're at all familiar with Spartan bucket carries, are awful, so you got to practice them. Yeah, the Hulk stone, dude, is the real deal. So yeah, it's a 215 boy. And there's some different exercise we do with the Atlas stones, but
so can you pick that one up there?
I can, man. I can on a good day. Oh, dude, I think that's how it works too. He's like, let's see, I'll pick it up. I'm not gonna put it over my shoulder, but. And then the other exercises is now what you would do is either set it on like a shelf, or we compete in a competition called Epic Series. In Epic Series, they have you throw the ball over your shoulder. And this was no joke. It used to be a 160, and then we came out for one competition one day. Just had the 215 out there, and it stumped all the strong dudes. It was nasty. So.
And what's the buckets? Tell me
So the
about
buckets,
that one.
so bucket carrying Spartan is probably the most suffering specific obstacle at Spartan. They just give you a bucket for the men. It's close to 80 or 90 pounds.
Right.
And you're going to carry that bucket. What happens? You get a bucket, an empty bucket, and there's a big pile of rocks.
Yeah.
So you fill your bucket up with all those little pebbles, and they have holes in the top of the bucket.
Right.
And the old way it used to work is that if you could see daylight through the holes, your bucket wasn't filled enough.
Right.
Right. So you got to fill it up, cover it, and then this is a pretty heavy bucket. Ooh. So and then you carry the bucket, normally close to a quarter mile. Yeah. It's just awful, man. Just a whole different kind of suffering. You've got a spear throw target.
So yeah, tell me what's going on here.
Yeah, you have to give me a throw spear now. We'll actually have Haydee throw spear. She's dope.
Do you literally throw spears?
You literally throw spear. The whole ambition with Spartan is you throw it from 20 to 25 feet, and the spear is supposed to stick in the bale of hay.
Right.
And so if you only get one throw, the way Spartan works is any obstacle you fail, you have to do 30 burpees for every obstacle. So you get one throw to make it. If you miss, you do 30 burpees. We just recently built the Olympus wall. The Olympus wall is another really tough one at Spartan. This is a tough obstacle. So the way it works, there's normally like a bale of hay here. Once you get up onto the wall, I'm in slacks, mind you, but you are meant to traverse across the wall. Oh, that's interesting with dress shoes on. But you're meant to traverse across the wall without having your feet touch the ground.
So who comes up with the ideas for the kit? Do you look at what's going on in Spartan and then you get someone to build it, or?
Pretty much, yeah. We try to have most of the major Spartan obstacles. So yeah, we try to build most of the Spartan obstacles. The ones that they call the burpee makers. The burpee makers are normally the obstacles that most people are likely to fail.
Yeah.
Most people don't do burpees over a wall or carrying a bucket, but a lot of people aren't going to get through the monkey bars or through the multi-rig or getting the spear throw perfect. So we try to make sure we have all those major obstacles. Last part I was going to say about like what I really am passionate about is the leadership library. And so we talked earlier about self-development.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is create a little bit of like a third space for the members here.
Right.
Somewhere between work and home that they can hang out and have a place to do their work, do their homework for the students that train here. And also just give them resources. So it's kind of like a leave one, take one thing. Members can take a book whenever they see fit. If they've got an extra book that they don't want, they can bring it. We joke that a missing book's worth 100 burpees, but we don't hold anybody really accountable for it. But
So tell me a bit about you guys. You know, how did you two meet for a start?
Well, it was back in 2007. I was going to Cal State Fullerton, and I needed a part-time job, so I started working at 24-Hour Fitness.
24-Hour Fitness?
Yeah,
okay.
so in Fullerton.
Were you a trainer?
I was just front desk.
Okay.
So I said hi to everybody, made sure everyone got checked in, you know, just basic stuff.
Yeah.
And he walked into 24-Hour Fitness with a couple of friends that I knew from college.
Right.
And I was trying to hook him up with my best friend. Just her type. And then he started working at 24 about a month later, and
she didn't stand a chance. I saw her game was strong and swooped her up. 10 years later,
here we are.
Boom.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you had your eye on her straight away then.
Oh yeah. I walked in with my buddies. So yeah, I was actually like training my buddies, I guess, at 24 when I walked in, and she's at the front. I told my friends like, "Yo, I'm gonna get that one, bro. I'm gonna get that."
Verbatim.
Mm-hmm. Verbatim.
And so what were you doing? Were you a personal trainer or?
You know, so I not so much at the time. I was just a football player. I was a college football player, and so my buddies were always asking me like, "Hey man, will you help me work out? Will you help me work out?" And so when I wasn't at football practice, I would take my buddies to 24-Hour Fitness, and I just help them out a little bit.
Right.
And so that was how it all started. And then somewhere around the lines of I needed a job as well, and I heard 24-Hour Fitness is hiring salespeople, so I was like, I'll give it a shot.
Oh, so you started in sales?
Mm-hmm. It was actually just meant to be a job. I didn't know if that was really what I wanted to do. At the time, I was going to school to be a teacher.
Okay.
And I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. That was what I was going to school for.
Really?
And it's funny because there's a lot of parallels in how we teach and coach and all that stuff now, but so I don't think it's a crazy different field.
Yeah.
But
it's like teaching kindergartners sometimes.
Oh, shoot.
I'm just
Okay.
kidding. Can you take that out, Kevin? Don't do that.
So, but I was actually really good at selling personal training. So the way the memberships work is you're supposed to, if you sell memberships, a certain percentage of those was also supposed to get a personal trainer attached with it.
Right.
And it was like 10%. I was attaching like 50, 60%. Like everybody I talked to got a personal trainer.
Really?
And
so you're a good sales guy then?
I guess so. I had a trainer when I was in high school. I went to a place called Acceleration Indiana, which is, I'm from Indiana initially.
Right.
And they helped me work on my 40 speed and stuff for football. And that ended up being the reason I got out of high school to be able to play at the college level.
Right.
And so I had a coach at some point, so it was easy for me to talk about why I think a coach could help somebody.
Right, okay. Yeah. And do you think that in terms of sales then, do you think having that sort of background in understanding what you're doing makes you good in selling as well?
Yeah, I think that if you're trying to sell something, you damn sure better be passionate about it.
Yeah.
It always bugs me when you got like a Ford salesman that drives a Chevy or something like that. Like, do you really believe in your product? I tell coaches that a lot. Trainers that don't have other trainers, like you don't pay somebody to make you better as a coach. So you're telling me you don't really believe in coaching, right?
So just explain that again.
So if you really believe in coaching,
right, you
would have a coach.
Right.
Right. If you really believed a coach could benefit anybody, then why wouldn't you be working on your development and you getting better?
Yeah.
And so I tell our coaches all the time, go find somebody that pushes you or challenges you or continues to help you grow.
Right.
That's what a coach does. A coach helps somebody get somewhere they wouldn't get on their own.
Right.
And so I definitely believe in coaching.
Yeah.
And because I believe in coaching, it's not sales to sell somebody coaching. It's me sharing something I truly believe everybody could benefit from.
Yeah.
And it's an easy sell at that point.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point because quite a few trainers I meet have an issue with the word sales. They feel it's not something that they feel comfortable or should do in a lot of cases. And I guess the way you've put it is quite interesting, because you're not selling people, but you're sharing something that you know. I think that's quite a good way of putting it for people that may be concerned about feeling salesy. And
I think everything does have to be sold, though, at the end of the day. I think that there's nothing wrong with sales, and one of the things that we want for people, we want to be able to provide an environment where we can have great coaches. In order to have great coaches and great talent, we have to be able to pay great talent and great coaches. To recruit great talent and great coaches, we have to be able to compensate them, which means we have to be compensated, which means that if we're doing a great service, it's okay to have a fair exchange for a great service, which in this situation would be money. There's nothing wrong, we can't do what we do for free, and I think we do a lot for people. I think a good coach does a lot for people. And so I think we should be able to make a living doing what we do. I think we're valuable as coaches.
Right.
But if you don't have the skill to persuade people to take action on anything, whether it's coaching or whether it's even, some people won't go to the dentist when they need to unless you sell them on it. Sometimes you just have to be persuasive.
Yeah.
People are just natural procrastinators. They don't take action unless you help them sometimes.
Right. Okay. So what are a couple of the things that you took from that time where you were both at 24 Hour Fitness that you're using today? Was there?
I think I came from the more service managerial side of things, and he came from more of the sales and fitness side. So it's always been a great parallel to each other, because we had both sides of the spectrum when it came to business and owning a gym, or not owning a gym, running a gym. So I knew all the behind the scenes on how to run a gym, and he knew how to
get the clients.
Yeah.
So we were both managers at 24 Hour Fitness for a very long time at separate clubs. So we knew what came out of 24 Hour Fitness were the success routines and all the different just different tactics that made a business a corporation.
Right.
So we knew what to implement from 24 and just brought it here.
Right. And what was a couple of examples of key things that stood out from that?
I think just structure and making sure that you had a success routine for every single aspect of your gym. So everything should be from how to say hello to someone, how to answer the phone, how to ring up a personal training agreement. Every little thing that comes with the business should be detailed.
Right.
And it should be
systemized.
Everything should just be very systematic in order for things to go smoothly.
Right.
Because if someone else came in, there should just be something in place that they can just plug into.
Yeah.
It's just not in your head.
No.
Yeah.
By any chance, have you read the E-Myth?
I have.
Okay, so the E-Myth is one of my favorite books, and they talk a lot about the idea of the different phases of business, infancy to adolescence to maturity, and they talk about to everything Haydee's saying, that the business has to be bigger than you.
Right.
And in order to do that, you can't be the bottleneck in your business. So if the only way we know how to onboard employees is just by whatever Josh feels like teaching them that day, what happens if Josh is sick, we have a new employee, then a new employee doesn't get trained for a week or what, right? There should be an onboarding process for when you have a new employee. There should be a new member onboarding process. How do you make sure every member has the same experience when they come in? And it's not just, how's the coach feeling that day? If it was just Josh's training and I was the only coach, if I'm having a bad day and you're a new client, you're gonna get a bad experience. Right? But if we have systems on the way that the client's greeted when they walk into the door, how their measurements are performed on their first session, how their movement assessment's done on the first session, making sure that every client has a replicatable experience.
Yeah.
The E-Myth talks about the turnkey solution.
Right.
And it's not the idea that, I don't know if for us we're looking to franchise Fitness on Fire, but we almost have to treat the business as if we were going to. That everything is done in the sense of, how would this be done if there were 100 Fitness on Fires? Right? And everything that we do in the gym is asked by that question, right? What would, if an employee calls out sick, or if an employee wants vacation, how would that be done in Florida at the Fitness on Fire in Florida, to make sure that that process is the same for the Fitness on Fires in California, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So that turnkey solution is what I got out of 24 Hour Fitness,
Yeah.
which is they helped us understand how important those systems were in a business. And I think a lot of trainers that open a gym, they have the passion behind, like, I love kettlebells and training stuff. But that's not why they fail. It's not because they don't know enough. It's not because they don't care about people. It's possibly because they don't have the business acumen or the systems to run an actual gym. They're just a personal trainer.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and I think one thing, coming from a corporation and coming from just a bigger company, becoming smaller and starting what you want to start, you bring, I think, the personality out of a business. So we were able to incorporate more of the homey feel. So just the welcome, just good vibes. Like, I don't think anyone wants to go anywhere where it's just bad vibes. So I think just making sure everyone, where it doesn't feel like robots working at a gym, like you're interacting with actual people.
Right.
People who know where you've been, are where you want to be, and just like it's just real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess there's balancing that sort of process, like scripted, with the human element.
Yeah.
And I think working for a bigger company, nothing against 24 Hour Fitness. 24 Hour Fitness was awesome. They did a lot of good things for us, gave us a lot of good opportunities.
Yeah.
And it was neat working at so many 24 Hour Fitnesses in Orange County. We opened up Fitness on Fire square in the middle of all those 24 Hour Fitnesses. So it's something where we've been in the marketplace for a decade each. So if we go to the grocery store, people are like, hey, aren't you the guy from the gym? Like, hey, I am. What are you up to now? Man, I'm doing this. And they end up becoming a member at some point. So that's really nice. So 24 was great to us. But I do think that there is, when you look at a bigger gym like that, to Heidee's point, the personality isn't always, like, you don't know what the personality of 24 Hour Fitness is. It's just like a gym that you're signing up for.
Right.
Versus here, we were able to see where we could do better for people and make it really about the people. Like, for a good example would be, just recently I had somebody come in, they wanted to do a trial month with us. Our trial months aren't crazy expensive, but they couldn't afford the whole down payment right then and there. So they asked if they could do a payment every Friday and split it into 4 payments. And at 24 Hour Fitness, they're like, no, you have to pay it today. And that was the rule. But now we're able to say, okay, hey, it seems like that's the right thing to do for you, Matt. We're going to take care of you on that, man. Totally fine. Whatever's easy. It doesn't have to be hard to make it work for people.
Right.
And yeah, there's a balance between the systems of all of that and also just trying to do the right thing for people.
Right.
And I think we're right in that in-between space with the size of our business right now.
Yeah. So you're at 24 Hour Fitness doing 2 different roles. Did you both sort of decide there that you wanted to leave together, or how did that next step happen?
We got married, and
Whilst you were at 24 Hour Fitness, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got engaged in 2011, got married 2013. But I think it came to the point where we didn't want to be stuck at 24 Hour Fitness for the rest of our lives.
Right.
Like, it paid well.
Yeah.
It paid really well. But was that enough to live? Like, we had bigger dreams than 24 Hour Fitness.
Right.
And I think on our honeymoon in Costa Rica, he made me listen to, he didn't make me, but the whole trip we listened to Think and Grow Rich.
Like the extended audio tape version.
Like his version back in like 1900. So we just had a lot of time to think and really collaborate on what we wanted as a couple. And we're in our prime. We need to have kids. We want to have a house. And California and Irvine's not cheap. So we needed to think out of the box. And just, Josh always wanted to own a gym. So
the other part of it too is it wasn't just about the money either. It was also about the time and money freedom. It's the idea that, to Heidee's point, we were in the upper end of our pay scales in all the positions we ever held at that organization. They took care of us. They did really good by us. But it was one of those things where we were absolutely trading hours for dollars, right? That at some point, if we wanted to start a family, I didn't want to be the dad that has that works 60, 70 hours a week, and his kids have the coolest gear and the nicest shoes and all that, but they never see dad at the football games. I'd honestly rather be dirt poor and be able to be at my kids' football games and spend time with my children than be behind a cubicle all day.
Right.
And so, and obviously I don't think it has to be either or, and that's what the next part for us is we believe in abundance. We believe in the idea that If you really set an ambition, you hold that definite purpose in your heart with a burning desire, and then you're willing to put the time, the effort, the sacrifice, the work into it, you can build anything that you want to build. I remember when our initial goal was to have 40 clients. Then I remember it was 100 clients. Then I remember it was 200 clients. The dream keeps growing because we're putting the work in, and we have the dream, we have the ambition, we have that passion, that fire. So I think that day when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I gotta go, man. I gotta do what my heart's telling me to do. You gotta go, you gotta do it. That's it. And I came home to Haydee one day and I told her, I was like, I kind of miss training people. I was a club manager at the time at 24 Fitness. I was like, I miss training people. I miss the one-on-one interaction. I just don't feel like I'm fulfilled doing what I'm doing right now. And she's like, we've been talking about that for a little while now. She's like, when are you gonna do something about it? So that next day I walked in, I gave my 2-week, and we started Fitness on Fire.
So you gave your notice, your 2 weeks period, and then, this doesn't just happen, this costs money. You need what's the bit in the middle?
Part of it is respectful to 24 Hour Fitness. I don't think we did anything out of character or out of integrity against that organization. When she talks about we got married. When we came back, I got a promotion the day I came back from our honeymoon and was promoted to be another club manager at another location. And I spent about a year in that location as the club manager, and I thought that growth was what I was looking for and the itch that I was trying to satisfy, but it just wasn't. There's just something else inside. So I started in the background. I started kind of writing the business plan, and I started. I probably had 6 months of premeditation of what it was that we were going to try and create. I got all my legal stuff done. Got our LLC filed in. If anybody's ever started a business, then there's more paperwork than you'd ever imagine. And people asked me the other day. Somebody asked me so what do I do in this situation? I'm like, gosh, I don't even remember. Like, how do you not remember? I'm like, dude, do you know how much stuff you have to do when you start a business? There's a lot of stuff. But started doing all of that stuff behind the scenes. So the day that I gave my 2 weeks, I was ready to start trying to take my first client.
Right.
At first, do you have
this location?
The ambition was actually just to rent space and and honestly, my ambition at first was to somewhat do a little bit of what you're doing today. That's something we can talk about at some point too, but I have a little bit of a YouTube channel as well. And what we used to do is we used to go around and interview fitness entrepreneurs, and people had specific niches. And we create a commercial for them in exchange for a training session / education for me. And I just wanted to be an authority in the fitness industry. And I know that there's all types of ways to make income when it comes to affiliate links and sponsorship of different programs and so on and so forth. So I thought if I built a big enough content engine that maybe we could create passive streams of income that way.
Right.
And I was just going to kind of train as that built because I just love training. So I was renting space at the time. So I left, started renting space, started training clients one-on-one, and it was just me at the time. Haydee was still at 24 Hour Fitness, so she was still carrying her benefits and all that stuff, right? And I trained private clients. I was going out and filming the YouTube videos on Fridays, and then my training business just started growing like crazy. And before I knew it, I was up to 40 personal clients, and things were good, but I started not have as much time for the YouTube stuff.
Right. And what was are you still running the YouTube?
Yeah, we still have the YouTube channel. It's the Fitness on Fire TV.
Fitness on Fire TV. Okay.
Yeah, and it's been pretty cool. We got a couple. We're in the hundreds of thousands now, which is cool of views. And it's neat because it makes us pennies. We don't do much with it, but it's we don't do much with it. It makes us pennies. That's cool. So it's a start. So I went to Idea World. The Ideal World Fitness Convention, and Todd Durkin was there, and he had a 1 day a day in the life of impact or something like that, or it was something like that. I think it was whatever the title was. So it's a day where you spend a day, and Todd Durkin gives you all of his business secrets about what he's doing in his gym in Fitness Quest 10 in San Diego, and how he's built himself up to do this authority in the fitness industry and all these things. And when he started talking about his team, it made me realize immediately how much I missed the leadership element of being a club manager, a fitness manager. I always had employees and a team at 24 Hour Fitness. And when I started training on my own, it was kind of lonely. It's just me training clients, but I missed leading other coaches and stuff like that. So it got me thinking, I think I do want a gym. I think I really do. In my heart, it was kind of scary. So I think I buried that dream. I had that dream a long time ago. When I was 18 years old, I was like, I want a gym one day. Right. But when I left 24 Hour Fitness, do I bet the ranch on it? I'm not sure. And so let's try and create some other stuff and see how. But I came back from the ideal world and I was just fired up. I was like, dude, it's time. Let's go. And we had 40 clients at the time, so I was like, I can cover the overhead at least. Let's give it a shot. So started looking for a facility. It was 6 months of renting space, building up my clientele, getting some cash, and then come January, 6 months later, January 2015, January 2015, we ended up getting the spot.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just so you just funded that out of your training plans?
And then very transparently, it was kind of like a 50-50 thing. We ended up having quite a bit of cash from training business, and then one of my clients was looking to invest in another property at the time, and we were training one day, and she's just like, she's telling me how much she didn't want to invest in another property, but she needed to do something with her money, and she needed to invest. I'm like, well, I'm thinking about opening a gym next year. What do you think about this? She's like, I'd actually be interested in looking at that. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. So I put together a business plan for her, and I showed her basically, so she kind of went in with us on it.
Right.
And it's kind of cool. Yeah. So it helped us get a start. I think it's important. I like the question you asked there, because we don't talk to a lot of people about our silent partner.
Right.
But as we're talking to maybe other coaches or other trainers, I do think that you'd be surprised that your clients would double down with you, and they would bet on you. And you have to understand partnerships and all that. It's a whole different game. So you need to make sure it's the right partner in the right situation and all that. And for us, it's been blessings. It's all been good.
Yeah.
But I do think that I heard a quote this morning that said, you can have anything in life that you ask for as long as you understand how to ask appropriately.
That's nice. That's very nice. So what would it sounds as though it all went to plan, and reading your book, maybe that's the law of attraction working for you, but was there any low points in that whole process, or did it just all work as planned?
You want to? You want me? I got low points.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
So I just read a book recently by Darren Hardy called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster.
Right.
Just dropping a couple books out there because I'm a reader. But it talks about the idea that sometimes the day that's going to be the highest high for you as an entrepreneur will also be the lowest low. It's like you don't really have when you work a 9 to 5 and you know what your paycheck's going to look like every day, you know what your schedule looks like, you know what the challenges you're going to face are every day. It's the same thing over and over and over again. I think you live it like this nice even kill. Honestly, in my opinion, that would be boring for me, but for some people, that security or that safety feels good, that certainty. In entrepreneurship, it's not that at all. It's oh my God, we might not make it, we might fail. Oh wait, we succeeded. We had something really big happen. And it's like, oh my God, I'm so depressed. I don't even want to get out of bed today. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to uplift the world. There's definitely not only mood swings and all these things, and you have to learn how to balance those things as an entrepreneur, because not every day is going to be a great day. But I think you have to really hold steadfast to your dream and your vision. You have to believe in you and us. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in the dream and the vision and the passion and whatever's in our heart of hearts to do. But I will tell you, there's been some lows. There's not all highs and positives. And honestly, for the first 2 years, we didn't make any money. We made no money. We went from making all this money at 24 Hour Fitness. We gave up all of our salary, all of our stuff. We had some money in the bank, which was okay. But then we ran out of money in the bank. We got broke. I think it's all a part of the game. It's the month that you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't pay my bills. The next month you make a $20,000 bonus. Oh, okay, that's cool. And then the next month it's, so on and so forth. There's always highs and lows. And so I don't have any real specifics other than the fact of the first 2 years, we didn't make very much money at all. And right as we started to get some cash flow in and we started to get up above all the overhead and all this stuff, our neighbor moved out. And we were like, okay, do we want to stay complacent with what we're doing right now? Or do we want to gamble the next level up in business and take over that next space, expand our space, and see if we can double our membership? And so we ended up taking the cash that we were about to start making and put it right back into the business and opened up the wall. But it was the right step. It was the right move. So while we faced brokenness some more, we had to do that to grow the business to the next level. So there's always going to be those trade-offs, I think. But again, holding steadfast to the vision, it's like, dude, I get it. We're going to be broke a little bit longer. But I know that what's on the other side of all of this struggle and hustle and the ups and the downs is going to be everything that we've ever dreamed of and everything we wanted to create.
Yeah. And I think one big thing, totally separate, is because we're a personal training studio, we have private clients. Your coaches are going to have private clients, and those relationships built with their clients. So I think when it comes to owning a gym, when you have trainers leave, you might see an influx of business loss.
Yeah.
So how do you combat that? How do you become proactive on losing those clients when a trainer decides to leave? Like if they decided, there's always different scenarios, but I think that's where our semi-private sessions came about, because how do we harness the community more and not make it so cliquey, where Josh is
I'm only here to train with Haydee today.
Yeah, it's just Josh and Haydee, or you just train with Josh and you just want to train with Josh. Semi-private sessions allows our community and our members to train with other coaches and get the feel of other coaches, so it's not just when Josh leaves, that client's going to leave.
Yeah.
That client is going to stay because they're a part of the community. They feel like they can train with other coaches here.
Yeah.
So I think that's one proactive thing we did to minimize excess loss.
Yeah.
And going back to your question about like what were some of the lows, we had a coach leave and it took a bunch of business.
Right.
And out of the losses or out of the low moments normally come really big successes. So semi-private training now is our most popular product. And because we had a low moment where we had a coach leave and take a bunch of business, we discovered that we needed to be able to prepare for that better in the future, and we created a different program. That different program's now our breadwinner. And so I think that if you got your head on a swivel as an entrepreneur, understand that if you have a low, there's a high right around the corner. It's just a matter of like hanging in there.
Yeah. And then there's a couple, because they say one of the biggest strains on the relationship is financial, and having your partner going through those things at the same time. How do you keep, what the psychology of the relationship and the business? How did you sort of make that work then?
You could start.
Okay. So I think for a big part is we communicate. I think it sounds so simple, and everybody's like, oh, okay, I get it. You have to communicate in a relationship. But like, people don't do it though, right? And so there's a book called Fierce Conversations, and they talk about like, what are you pretending not to know? That's a very interesting question. I don't think there's ever anything that we're pretending not to know about one another. If there's something that's bothering us, or like, I don't like the way you talked to me today when you told me, when I messed up that membership agreement and you kind of yelled at me about it, I thought you kind of treated me a little wrong there. She'll tell me, she's like, you're a little bit of a jerk today, Josh. So I think that for us, the communication side of it, we handle communication head on. If something's bugging us, we talk about it. We don't really walk out of the gym with gym drama and take that home with us. And I think we've worked really hard at that, and that's tough.
Yeah.
As far as the financial side, when the peaks and valleys go, again, I think it is communication. I think, however people feel about this comments, whatever, but I'm going to say as the man, I feel like the man is supposed to be the leader of the family a lot of the times. And so for me, I think my role is to continue to communicate the vision with my lady, to be able to help her keep the faith in what we're doing on the day, because I'm definitely the why guy, or I'm the why guy. I'm the I've got all the ideas and the creativity, and what if this could be, what if we did this, what if we opened 5 of these, and what if we,
and it gets overwhelming sometimes. I'm like, dear God.
And Heidee's the how person. Haydee hears the vision, and she's like, yeah, but this is really what is going to have to happen in order for that to go on. And so I think it's great that we have both of those. If we were both just like the airy-fairy dreaming people and nobody was a how person, nothing would get done, right? But on the other end, if we were both how people, like, I don't know what the future of the business would look like if we're not dreaming bigger. So I think we have a good balance of those two things. And so a lot of the times she'll come to me to tell me that there's a financial struggle in the business, and then I dream up how we're going to get out of it, and then she implements it. And so I think we're just a good team, to be honest with you. But I think it goes back to communication.
Yeah, and I think knowing when to separate business and like your love life and like your personal relationship, like you have to know when to turn the business off.
Right.
When like Thursdays are our date nights, so we'll still do like computer work and business stuff, but it's a time for us to just
talk to each other other than Fitness on Fire, although it's sometimes hard to find something outside of work to talk about.
Part of our life.
So yeah, I think just knowing when to separate the two,
Right.
And knowing that you're not just business partners, that it's deeper than that, and just knowing that and knowing each other. Yeah, just the communication of it all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to your question, because I think your question was really about, like, with the financial side of when you're in a low moment, how do you balance that as a couple and in that struggle? And I think the answer that we're giving you here is about the idea that our relationship is bigger than the money. Our dream is bigger than the money currently.
Right.
And so I think holding steadfast to that dream, and I think that we fight every day for that. We talk about the vision every single day. So on the days that it is the lowest of the low, it's like, look what we're shooting for.
Right.
Look at where we're going.
Right.
This won't always be our reality. It's got to be, we're going to get to wherever we're going, so on and so forth. And it's worked so far.
And talking about that vision then, so what is the future? What's the next 5 to 10 or whatever? What does that look like for you?
Sure.
What are you?
And this is actually a hard question, because as we talk about the vision is, I don't know if it's about 100 Fitness on Fires.
Right.
I think when people talk about growth, I think that everybody expects that should be my answer, that you should have multiple locations and operate in multiple states and countries and so on and so forth. Really for us, it's about like value that we can provide. And so we've talked a lot about the idea that we want Fitness on Fire to be synonymous with personal training.
Right.
And so what's that mean? If you walk into a warehouse like this, a lot of times the first question people ask me is this a CrossFit? I get that question a lot, and we have answers. We have ways that we script and teach our staff how to deal with that question. So I'll give it to you real quick. So if somebody says, "This is a CrossFit," I say, "Well, tell me what you think about CrossFit." And they'll be like, "Oh, dude, CrossFit is life, bro." And I'm like, "Okay, dude, this is just like CrossFit. Then we lift weights and all this stuff." If you ask the same question, is this like a CrossFit? I'm like, "What do you think about CrossFit?" Like, dude, my friend broke their neck doing CrossFit. It's so crazy. I just don't think it's safe at all. Like, we're nothing at all like CrossFit. And we'll tell them why we're different than a CrossFit. But the reason I brought that up is when people look at a warehouse like this, they're like, "Is this a CrossFit?" What I think CrossFit has done so well is they've created a whole separate brand of fitness. It's a whole separate brand of fitness that warehouses with open space look like a CrossFit. I would like one day for people to go into a personal training gym like you did today and be like, "I haven't seen something like this." People say, "I run a personal training studio." Like, "Oh, is that like a Fitness on Fire?" Right? That we become synonymous with all things training. That's the ambition. And I think that nowadays with social media, with YouTube, with Instagram, with Facebook, with all these different means and content or blogs and the internet being in its infancy phases, I believe, I think that you can have a really big reach without having a really big footprint. And so I don't know if it's about 100 Fitness on Fires, but I would like to have the same reach as 100 Fitness on Fires.
Right.
And Todd Durkin's facility in San Diego, Fitness Quest 10, really inspired me. He's one of the first coaches I ever saw that when I was growing up, I thought if you want to be a personal trainer, you had to be broke. Like it was like part of the job scope. Like you live in your mom's basement, like you don't make any money, you smell funny, like all that stuff. Like I thought that was like the thing. And then I saw Todd, I started following Todd, and I saw that he was a trainer that was out there making a living by owning a gym, by giving people, like by being a coach. And again, I think there's so much we do for people as coaches that I think it's ridiculous that it's hard to make money being a trainer. I think trainers should make money hand over fist, in my opinion, because I know what we do for people. I'm a marriage counselor, a business coach, I'm a personal trainer, a nutritionist. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I'm everything for a lot of people. I think we do more for people sometimes than their doctors do for them. We see them every single day. We have influence over these people and what kind of decisions they're making about their health every day. Why do coaches struggle to make the kind of money that a doctor that sees that client once a year and tells them, just don't run anymore, that's why your knees hurt? Like, well, give me something more than that, right? So anyways, I believe that coaches matter. I believe that coaches should be able to make money doing what they're doing. I'd like to be able to provide an engine where coaches could go somewhere and be able to do that. And in that essence, also becoming like a category killer in the personal training field.
Right.
And that's kind of the bigger vision.
Yeah. That sounds quite inspiring.
Cool.
And I guess it's, as you say, it's a different way. It's you're still touching as many people, but not necessarily in the traditional way. Doing it in a slightly different way, which is quite interesting. So, in order for people to sort of follow and get to know what you're doing, you've got your YouTube channel, which is Fitness on Fire TV. Yeah, and where else can we find you?
So we're on Instagram. Our Instagram's fitness.on.fire.
Right.
We're on Facebook, Fitness on Fire OC.
Right.
Like Orange County. And then we also, on our website, the fitnessonfireoc.com website, we have our own blog. There's an email opt-in there. We do a lot through our email communication, things such as grocery shopping lists and workouts of the week. I think if you opt in for the email list on the webpage, there's a 25 workout guide on there that people can do at home with their body weight and or some of our staple things that we do here in the gym. So we're a little bit actually all over the place,
Yeah. And the final thing then is if you best piece of advice, someone who's just working at a gym, I won't put no names, but they're working, they're a PT, they're working on the reception, and they're thinking they've had this dream like you. What would be the best piece of advice you could give for someone in that position that wants to go on and do something like you guys did?
It's simple of a question, that is a tough question. I think you have to believe in yourself. You really thoroughly have to believe that you can. I believe in possibility. If there's anything that I want to represent in my lifetime, it's possibility. I want Fitness on Fire to be successful so I can show those coaches that you're talking to that it can be done. So if you don't have a dream, you got to get a dream, and you got to believe in yourself and in that dream. So I think the first advice would be get a dream. Like, you got to have something you believe that you have a burning desire for, right? If that's already there and it's just like I'm kind of on the fence, but I don't know if I want to chase that dream or not because I don't know, maybe I'll fail. I'll ask, what if you fail? What if you fail? So what? What if you fail? But at the same time, what if you fly, right? What if you take a chance and what if you can build everything you ever wanted? Isn't that worth any risk, right? It's better than living life going back 50 years from now and be like, gosh, man, I wish when I had that burning desire I would have tried. I think you got to try.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it's an inspiring story. I'm sure there's lots more we could talk about, but we'll have to come back again and do that workout.
Sure.
Pick up the bucket, slow some spears.
There we go.
But Heidi, thank
nice
you very
to
much.
meet you.
Yeah, Josh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.